Hey y'all, it's Michael, and this is my Friday read. So I'm going to tell you about the books that I'm going to plan to read for the weekend and tell you a little bit about the stuff that I previously read. Before we talk about the books, I want to talk about RuPaul's Drag Race because I always film this on Friday and that's when it usually happens. And we finally had the season finale. Spoiler alert in case you haven't watched it, but the winner was Sasha Velour, and that really surprised me because this was a perfect example of someone who never lip synced for their life in previous eliminations. So I never knew what her lip sync prowess was, and she came out of nowhere for me because I was originally rooting for Shay and Trinity. I was like, oh my gosh, yes! But then after Shay and Trinity lost, I was like, oh, Peppermint and Sasha Velour are going head at it, and I was like, wow, Sasha Velour is really good. Like, she can really lip sync. Like, she's a good lip syncer, and I think RuPaul made a really good choice. Me and my friend who watches the show, when we talk about it, I think it's really like we have a really good conversation on like why do we think RuPaul chose this person, blah 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 blah. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. That season finale was really good. Those lip syncs were great. Quick thing, I also want to talk about today. This is like really short, but Jay-Z released his album. I guess it's titled 444, like 444. The way I listen to music, like albums, I listen to the beginning to the end, and I want you to give me an experience, a story, something. And here I was like, oh my god, is he talking about Beyonce? Like the whole thing. I was like, is he talking about Beyonce's Lemonade? And when I looked on Twitter, I was like, everybody was talking about it, and I was like, oh yeah, he's definitely talking about Beyonce's Lemonade. It's I really enjoyed it. The track with Frank Ocean, what was it called? Hold on, that one was the one I enjoyed the most. I was like, oh, this is really good. It's called Caught in Their Eyes. I was like, wow, that's probably my favorite track on the thing. But I really like the album. He talks a lot about a lot of things. Like he gives financial advice. That was really funny. He talks about the current state of rap, which I was like, oh, that's really interesting. And he talks about growing up and almost losing the baddest bitch in the world. So there's that. Okay, so recently I finished. You guys, I am finally caught up with my short story collections. In case you don't know, every single day for this year, I think I started in around February-ish, I was wanting to read a short story every single day. And I'm finally caught up. I was like, oh my god, thank god. I finally caught up yesterday. So I need to read the one for today. But I was like, yes, I'm finally caught up. So yay! So I did finish The People in the Castle Selected Strange Stories by Joanne Eichen. I'll do a full-on thoughts about it. But that this short story collection really falters in my opinion in the middle because you have some really great interesting stories in the beginning, and in the end I was like, oh okay, it picked back up, but that middle really hurts it because there were some just like ugh. Okay, that's yeah. So after I finished putting up my books and this tripod and all of that jazz, I was like, oh wait, I forgot something. Okay, so in June, I attempted to read 2 hours every single day. It did not go that well. 2 hours of it sounds like it's not a lot. Like it doesn't sound like a lot. And I was averaging roughly around 1 hour-ish around that time, sometimes more, sometimes less. But hitting that 2 hour mark, something about it is just, it's really hard. I don't know what it was, but trying to read 2 hours every single day was difficult. So I'm gonna try it again in July. I'm gonna try to make more of an effort than anything. Let me tell you about the books that I'm currently reading. So currently right now for my YA book club, we meet in a few days, but I am currently listening to If I Was Your Girl by Meredith Russo, and then I'm currently reading Every Day by David Levithan. I think the theme this time around was LGBT literature, just because of Pride Month, so that's what I'm reading now. This one I'm a little bit almost halfway through. And If I Was Your Girl, I'm going to finish it probably tonight. Like, I'm almost done with it. I have like a few more chapters. I'll talk about it when I do a wrap up. Manga wise, I'm halfway through The Ancient Magus' Bride Volume 4. I'm really liking it, and you guys, so I found out that there is going to be Funimation is doing a one night movie event for the anime. Oh my god, yes, I'm so excited because and yes, the studio that did Attack on Titan is animating this manga. It's gonna be amazing, beautifully animated. I seen the previews for it and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. So EA. For my short story collection, I'm currently reading The Assassination of Margaret Thatcher by Hilary Mantel. I am halfway through it. I'm going to be finished with it. Actually, I think I'm going to be finished with it next week. So I'm going to pick up the Murakami short story collection that I currently checked out of the library. Also in July, I'm going to start on it hopefully soon, probably this week. Didi from Brown Girl Reading is hosting a read-along for Confused Spice by Mathis Bailey. He is a booktuber on BookTube. I'll link Didi's announcement video and then Mathis's BookTube channel. We're gonna be reading it, and yeah, that's it. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is, so last week I was thinking about doing like reading a author's whole bibliography for like each month that's remaining, and so I was looking through my bookshelf and I was like, what do I want to read? Like, I need to knock off some of these books that I have on my physical bookshelf. I was like, there's a lot. So I decided to pick this author because he has, when I checked on his Wikipedia, he has 5 current works. So I'm gonna try to read all of them. Now it's gonna be hard for one, because one of the books is incredibly long, and that's Far from the Tree by Andrew Solomon. So Andrew Solomon, he is a non-fiction, well, he has one fiction novel. He mainly writes non-fiction, and I have had this book on my bookshelf for a really long time. This is about like identity, and it's interesting because what book was I reading recently where Alice Klebold, the mother of Dylan Klebold from Columbine, with the Columbine shooting, it was quickly mentioned that she was in this book, and I was like, oh, I have that book. And so, because I've started on this before, but it's a pretty long book, and I'm intrigued to read his works. One of his novel, Noonday Demon, I believe it's called, that won I think that won the Pulitzer, so it's gonna be really interesting going through his bibliography. I'm thinking I might want to go through it chronologically to see which ones he published first. So that's the author I'm going to be going through this month. Hopefully this is a chunker. Wish me luck, you guys. So yeah, those are the books I'm hoping to read during this weekend and during the week. So until then, let me know what you guys are reading. Until then, I'll see you guys till later. Bye.